Thanks, Christian. Hello, welcome to Midlands Today with me, Mary Rhodes. The headlines tonight. New house build nightmares. Residents at housing estates plagued by problems from landslip to blocked drains.
It is still obviously encroaching onto the road, as you can see from here. I feel like all it's going to take is just a little bit more movement for anything else to come crashing down.
We'll have advice on what you can do if you're having problems with a new build home. Good evening. Blocked drains, a landslip and no street lights for years. These are just some of the problems at a number of new build housing estates across the Midlands. Our investigation has found that the developer who built them, Duneden Homes, has breached planning permission at least 3 times across our region on estates in Craigley Heath, Woolsall and Stoke-on-Trent. Residents have been telling our reporter Chris Steers they want to see action to fix the problems.
This is the shocking moment a landslip woke people up in the middle of the night. And it's not the first time it's happened either. Back in January, we reported how a collapse in the embankment at Hayden Cross Drive blocked access to 12 homes. 4 months on, the rubble is yet to be cleared.
It definitely woke me up. A lot of noise. Obviously, the houses opposite are going to be, must have been terrified. They haven't given us a timeline. They haven't given us any sort of reassurances of when it's going to be fixed safely and permanently. We've just been told it's temporary. Well, I've just been told it's temporary. We've lived here for, it'll be 4 years this year. No streetlights at all in that time. It is still encroaching towards the house. It is still obviously encroaching onto the road, as you can see from here. I feel like all it's going to take is just a little bit more movement for anything else to come crashing down.
And the landslip isn't the only issue at Hayden Cross Drive.
The drain was stopped up in the very beginning, and the builder put slips through the door saying that we would have to pay next time. The people who live up there said they watched what the people were doing when they were unblocking the drain, and it was all concrete. They were getting out big lumps of concrete.
There's also a similar set of circumstances on another new build housing estate in Stoke-on-Trent. People who live at St Dominic's Place have told me they've had issues for years.
We had a big problem last year with a collapsed drain in a street up from us, not even on our street, but it was causing backfill issues on our estate, to the point where we had to, because we couldn't get anywhere, because Severn Trent wouldn't accept that we were on their system, that we then had to all pay together. I think it cost us about £700 to have 13,000 gallons removed from the system. We had raw sewage running down the fields behind us as a result of it.
Stoke-on-Trent City Council successfully took the developer Duneden Homes to court last year. They were fined £4,000 for a breach of planning permission.
In a 4-page letter to the BBC, the developer Duneden Homes denies any liability for the problems we've raised. They say they're working on a temporary fix for the landslip at Hayden Cross Drive. And as for the streetlights at both Hayden Cross and St Dominic's Place, they say that they have installed and ducted the cabling ready to be energised. And Severn Trent say the sewers at St Dominic's Place will be adopted once one outstanding point has been dealt with. The adoption process at Hayden Cross Drive is still in its early stages. Chris Steers, BBC Midlands Today.
The Home Owners Alliance offers help and advice on buying, selling and owning a home. Paula Higgins is the CEO. I asked her how common problems are with new builds.
Unfortunately, they are quite common, especially as we're building more and more. So we always say that people really need to do proper research when they're looking to buy a new build.
What are the most frequent problems that people have with new build properties?
Well, a lot of them are sort of basic snagging issues, so, you know, sort of the finishes or perhaps the garden, drainage, those types of different issues. But then there's also been some major issues, particularly with things like estate charges and the extra charges that might incur if you're buying a new build.
And if people have problems that go on for months and months, what protection do they have?
Every new build usually comes with a 10-year warranty, so in the first 2 years the developer should be coming back and sorting out all snags. So we always say to prioritise that, diarise that, get everything in writing. After the 2 years you're looking at more structural issues, and that can be a bit more difficult. There is a New Homes Ombudsman. It is a voluntary scheme, but you might be able to go there to get some redress as well.
So if people aren't getting anywhere with a developer, where else can they go? What other protection do they have?
Well, this is the tricky thing because it's a very weak protection, and the government is looking to do changes to help it if, you know, places aren't being adopted and that sort of thing. But this is why we campaign for stronger protections for people buying new build and having builders regulated as well.
What's the bottom line here? If they're having repeated problems, they're not getting anywhere, where can they go for help?
Well, there's lots of different places you can go. It can be really tricky, so go to your MP, get your neighbours involved, make sure you get everything done in writing, get experts involved, but it can be quite tricky, and sometimes going to the media can help.
Paula Higgins, thank you.